My mum's gone now, and I am so glad. I was kind of tempted to make a video yesterday. I was hoping or planning all day to make a video about the second she leaves. I can make a video about just how relieved I am that she's gone. But by the time she actually did leave, I was just exhausted and just pretty much fell asleep, even though it was only about 7 o'clock. But yeah, she's just such a draining, infuriating person, and I think she just gets madder and madder as the years go on. I think whatever happened with Sophie losing her kids and her just going insane over it, I think she's literally just driving herself more and more mad over the years. And I just, she's such an infuriating person, and you can't go anywhere with her, because when you go somewhere with her, she starts saying just repetitive things over and over again. You know, this her telling me that my sister, she was getting stuff from the homeless centre. They're giving her free stuff because she hasn't worked because of the child being taken away, or because she lost her job because she was working in a nursery and the social services said you can't work. You know, she's felt this as a right, fine, if you're not allowing me to work in a nursery, I'm going to go off to the homeless shelter and start taking out food. So she had a bit of extra, so she's given me a nice big present of stuff that she didn't end up eating, which I'm going to appreciate. But yeah, my mum took the shampoo out, and then she was just saying, oh, I did that because you told me you only used blonde shampoo, which is a strange thing to say, because it was true 10 years ago. I used to love the blonde shampoo. I thought it made my hair very shiny, and I used to always use it. But I haven't used that for like 7 years. The price keeps going up, and I think I've stopped caring. But yeah, it's like my mum remembers things that I tell her 10 years ago, and then she acts like I said it last week when I didn't. So I feel like her brain is starting to... Her memory of what life was like 20 years ago just seems to be so much clearer than what her memory is like now. And I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe the trauma of having having grandchildren being taken away, and her coming to the realization that she's not actually capable or mentally stable enough to have kids. I feel like this is affecting her mind, and she keeps like blanking out. You know, when I was at boarding school, I really hated it, and I kept doing that same thing, kind of kept trying to blank out my life, and kept reverting back to what I was like before I joined the boarding school when I was like 12. So I felt like I had quite a youthful character back then, because I kept trying to blank out my life. And yeah, life has just gotten worse and worse as time goes on. But just to get away from my mum and this just constant, you know, she didn't even tell me she was going to come. I saw her last week. There was no plan to come up earlier, and then suddenly, yeah, I'm at the station, I'm coming now, but I have to wait an hour. And then it turned out that the train was late. She got here at 2, and then just talking constantly, and then when you go somewhere, you say you're an hour walk away, I'm a half an hour cycle away, so I'll meet you there at a certain time. And of course she takes twice as long as possible, because she gets distracted and talks to people about random things, and then you go somewhere, and then she wants to do something but take 10 times longer than you do. So after you've done it, you want to walk away, but she's still on the first painting or something. The museum opened. And when you walk away from her, she starts screaming, Anna, Anna, Anna! And everyone around can hear, and you don't know why she's just screaming your name. Or say if you haven't seen her for half an hour, and then you do see her, you know, she sees you from a very long distance away, Anna, Anna, Anna! And it's just horrible. Why are you screaming at me? Why? No one else is doing that. She just doesn't act like anyone else around her, and I don't know what is wrong with her, but there's something not right about her. She doesn't seem to have any ability to work out who wants to talk to her, and how people relate to. It's a social disorder. The problem is it's so chappy that I'm just going to talk at you, and I'm not going to listen to anything that you say. And then when I I was watching the Murad guy about Diddy, and she was constantly, oh, why are these people doing this? Why are these people like that? It's like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about Diddy, or are you talking about the false accusers? You know, this is all fake. And I was trying to explain to her that I believe that this is all fake, that these people are just out to make millions of pounds. And they'll be like, oh no, that this is like Jimmy Savile, they all thought that. And it's just like, that's a completely different case, and it does make me wonder, are they all that? But the Jimmy Savile case, I think the accusers were people that were mentally ill, or children that were, I don't know what, I didn't really look into the details of that, but I know that she had an obsession with Jimmy Savile. Why? Because she met him once and she was almost invited backstage because of him. So she's got that little story in her head about all the things that could have happened to her if she had have gone backstage. And because of that, now any time that there's any accuser accusing anyone of any celebrity, or any celebrity of doing something, she just automatically believes the accuser. And it's just reminding me of how terrible society is. You know, society, most people in this society are just at this sort of bad bubble section, and anyone of this bad bubble section that makes allegations, now people of that bad bubble section are just going to assume that these people are telling the truth, and the one person at the top is not. Like, if you're going to turn against people, who are you going to turn at? The 100 people that are like you, or the one person the 100 people are attacking? You know, I feel like an idiot person is going to say, well, these people are all like me, I wouldn't lie, so they're not going to lie, even though they do lie. They just can't see the state of their own condition. They can't see that if they had gone to a Diddy party, and if they could, you know, if they were a liar or wanted to think, hey, I just need to tell some lies and make some money, and you might say, oh, well, this person wasn't trying to sue that person. And I'm just like, well, that's how businesses work. You know, if you're trying to scam people, you don't first say, hey, I'm here, I'm talking to you because I'm trying to make money off you. You know, you say, I'm talking to you because I want to offer you something, and then really you're just trying to get them to trust you, and then build up some sort of relationship. And then once you've built up this sort of relationship, then you start saying, well, you know, you can invest in crypto coins, then you just have to put some money into this, and it's going to rise. And maybe they do a little bit successful, maybe they get success, maybe they get heard, maybe they feel something from it, and then eventually sometimes the cryptocurrencies fail. I don't know about cryptocurrencies exactly because I've never tried it, but you know, if you're scamming someone, you don't just go up to someone and say, hey, give me your money. You know, you do it through other ways, and therefore if people are suing other people, they might not talk about wanting to make money first. It might just be, oh, this happened. But at the back of their mind, they're thinking, you know, if I can get people to believe me, if I can get people to support me, then I can convince people that this story is the truth, and maybe I'll be able to get some compensation, you know, further down the line. And I think if a person has died, the access to this money might actually be more likely, because the person's dead, they can't defend themselves. The person's money is now being passed on to the family, but the family can't talk for that person because that person's dead, and so picking on a dead person is probably even more likely, and therefore it makes me question everything. You know, I don't know Jimmy Savile. I don't even know who his accusers really were. I feel like, though, with him, I get bad vibes. I get a creepy. He does seem like a creepy pervert, to be honest. I mean, that's the vibe that he gives. And Diddy does seem a bit mad, so I can't really completely defend his sanity. But a lot of people are mad. So yeah, just because he's a bit mad, that doesn't mean that the accusers aren't mad. I mean, they could be far worse, hateful, and you know, there's a lot of mad people in the world. So, but yeah, but my mum just can't understand that. You know, I was trying to give quite a lot of defense as to why she shouldn't just judge Diddy, and she admitted, I don't know the people, I don't know this story, I don't know who Diddy is, I don't know who the accusers are, but if it's true for Savile, then it's probably true for all these girls. So all the facts she knew was that I said that there's about 100 people that have accused him, or 120 people, and maybe a lot more that have accused him, and that's all she wanted to know. All she wanted to know was this, and the Murad guy. She saw a tiny clip of the Murad guy saying what a terrible person he was. That's all she needed to know to side with the victims. That's all she needed, and it's really, really terrible, because with all the lies and false stories going around, I don't know how anyone can believe anything. And even though I was saying, but you don't know this, so why would you take a side when you don't know? Like, can't you just say, I don't know, so I'm not going to take a side, and I'm not going to assume that Diddy is like Jimmy Savile. I'm not going to do this. But she just wouldn't. Her brain doesn't work like that. Her brain works as if that celebrity is capable of doing it, then this one is too. And then that kind of opens the door up to anyone. If Diddy did it, did Jay-Z do it too? And it can, if you have this mindset of if person A did it, person B also probably did it. If you've got that kind of stupid, low-minded mindset, then I think the world is in trouble. And I think this is how Christianity formed. Those people think Jesus is God. That person thinks that Jesus is God. So why would I not think that Jesus is God? And then you have this whole organization being started around this lie, and you can't shift it. You tell people that that's not the truth. Where in the Bible does it say that it's not the truth? Well, the Bible isn't going to say that, because it's the Bible was written by people who are trying to convince people that the Bible is the truth. And she said, my mum's giving me a massive headache, and I can't spend time around her. Because everything she says, everything she talks about, I just want to slap her. Like a TV that's broken, and you want to see it, but it's like the screen is all, and you just kind of want to slap it in the head to hope that it kind of corrects itself. That's talking to my mother makes me want to slap her in the head in hopes of making her brain work better. And I know that's not how brains start working, so I think it would be best for both of us if we just stay apart and continue staying apart, because we can't agree on anything, and I can't even understand how someone can be as stupid as she is, and yet she has no ability to acknowledge any intelligence that I have. And as far as she's concerned, I am just the person who she made, hence she is above me, hence she is more right than me. Okay, I might be right about some things, but if I say anything, she's just not taking anything I say seriously, because in her mind she made me, hence she is older, hence she is smarter. And you can't tell people like that they're wrong, because they'll just be like, well, you're wrong because I'm older than you, and older people are more right than younger people, so therefore I'm not even going to believe you when you say that younger people can be smarter than older people. I mean, that's only if you're like rich or have a nice life, or if you're successful. If you had millions of followers, then I'd believe you. If you had millions of pounds, then I'd believe you. But because you don't have those things, I'm not going to believe you, because if you were smart, you would have achieved those things. And it's just like, I can't get anyone to respond to me in any way. I'm just completely trapped in a computer that just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know how long it's going to last for. I don't want to go back to massage, but if I buy another quarter of my sister's house next spring, then I'm only going to have a couple of thousand left in my bank, and therefore I might have to be forced to go back to massage, and I don't want to do that. But I probably might. But I don't know. I'm really, really hoping that something's going to happen this Christmas or this spring. I know Aaliyah died on the 25th, so did Michael Jackson, so did Left Eye, and maybe this is a sign that 25 is the year things kick off. I want a nice big house, but I feel like I'm so old now. I don't feel like I want a house for my life. I feel like I want a nice big house so that when I die I can be a ghost in it, and then I can enjoy the house. I want a big house that maybe you could do tours around. You know how you do Buckingham Palace, you have like tours, sometimes you have tours around Buckingham Palace. So I'd like a nice big house of the Lord that's like a big Disney princess castle with lots of statues of all the of Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and Belle and Ariel. Ariel's my favourite, so I think if there was to be more than one statue, it would be Ariel that I would focus on. Have her like the human, not necessarily the mermaid, because I think the mermaid reminds me more of a like trapped version, but a human version of Ariel. Have that painted all over, or have statues of her around, and and then I can when I die, I can look forward to having a nice home that I can live in as a ghost, and you can do tours to pay for the upkeep of it or whatever. And I don't know where that would be, but that's what I want. Um, and it would be nice if I could live in it during my life as well, but I feel like my life's over. I don't look old, but I feel it. Um, and yeah, and I got a new toy. Ah, hello kitty. It's got a nice jumper as well to keep her warm. I'm calling her Cutie, and it's all starry. I've got a jumper that's very similar to it actually. I've got two, one that's got clouds on it and one that's kind of got like a multicoloured sky. So that kind of, she's like copying me. So she's going to keep me company during Christmas. And I've got my hamster that's still alive. And my fish, I don't know what, I bought 2 silverfish Tuesday, and one of them's died already, and both of them look very, very skinny. So I've put one in a net surrounded by food, and I'm hoping that it will just constantly eat, because I don't know, it doesn't seem to be, neither one of them seem to be eating very well. Maybe they were being given different food in the shop, and they're not used to eating the pellets. But I put it in a net surrounded by food, and just hopefully it will just eat and eat and eat until it's got a bit more weight on it, because it looks like it's going to die too, which is very annoying. I don't know if the mollies need different type of water or something, but I have 2 mollies that are still alive. But if I could save this male, that would be great, because maybe then I could get a pregnancy from it. But anyway, what else to talk about? Seeing Elon Musk posts all over Facebook, and I don't know what the algorithm's doing, but it seems to be just every post. I think he's got. I'm convinced now that he's got some sort of company that is just literally making lots and lots of posts about him. I think that was quite a good idea. You know, I feel like if people recognize you in one life, they'll probably recognize you in the next life. And I don't know. I've seen quite a lot of posts about Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates as well, but I don't know, but I feel like if you have a lot of fame in one life, it might actually even help you in your next life as well, because subconsciously people start remembering your soul. And I feel like I'm having so much difficulty. Why? Because no one remembers me. No one's helping me, because I think it's likely that on the day Aaliyah died, my soul code was taken, sent back time, lived a full life, died in that way that was set up, and then entered back. That's what I kind of think. So technically I was born in my second, when I was only 26, which is why my mum is just she's such a terrible human being. Like if there's like a class of smart to dumb people, you know, my mum really is one of the lowest. And the only reason why I've been given why I was born to her, is because I too was probably only, if Darla died when she was 26, then that would make me 27. That would be 27 years of being a human. And so I've been given to a mother who's similar to 27 years old. I think my dad's older. I sense 3 lives, but I'm not too sure if it's 3 lives as in what method of scaling. I feel like 3 lives as in 3 bodies. I think I had a vision actually yesterday. There was the one that made the first bridge in China. I think that was his first life. And then I got another vision of a chariot, a car chariot, because my dad's very, very good at driving, and I mean he's very slow, very, very slow, and he's definitely older. He's 70 now, so he's not that as good now, but when he was younger he was very good. And I almost thought like sometimes he was like a little bit of a robot because of that, but I feel like he's had a life where he was a driver and learned how to drive chariots and stuff, and I got a vision of that yesterday, so I feel like that was one of his other lives, which would make this one the 3rd one. But there might have been another one that was short, where he learned how to actually drive a proper vehicle. When was cars first made? Wasn't that like in the Victorian time or something? He might have had some other experience with one of the first cars, but I feel like if he did have a life, then it would have been very, very short. I just because I don't feel like that much of a connection with that life. But I don't know, I'm trying to think about his past, and he is quite good with technology. Like he works for he worked for British Aerospace in Cubic with doing computers and stuff. I know computers didn't exist back then, but if he did have a sort of half life with as a son of a sort of car manufacturer or something, one of the first ones, that's kind of likely, and explains why he's more advanced. But I think he was short-lived in that life and short-lived in the other life, hence he's probably not that old. But he's definitely older than my mum. My mum's just totally batty, totally mad. But yeah, that's because I haven't lived very many years on this planet. And yeah, I've made the card yesterday about methods of how to work out how old a person is, and I do think that's right. I do think Mark Zuckerberg is a lot older than Elon, but yeah. Sometimes age doesn't really change you. Sometimes age does change you, sometimes it doesn't, and I think it really depends on what kind of life you've lived. You know, if you're living a life where you're just doing nothing all day, you might find that you don't really change that much over the years. But sometimes you can have a life where you're forced to do certain things or have experiences that change you in a way. And so, the difference between someone who's 800 years or had 800 years at being alive on Earth versus 1,000 years, might not actually be that much different. And some people can develop a lot faster. I think my sister's first partner, George, I would call him a fast developer because I don't think he's had many lives on Earth, but at the same time I felt like he was quite advanced for someone who's had the number of years that he has had. So yeah, you get the good and the bad, or the fast developing and the slow developing. But yeah, I feel like the method 3 is probably the way that it is analysed, and I don't know what happens. I feel like you can get to 20 lives, but I don't know what goes on, what happened. I don't think there is a 21 life, and because I don't think there's a 21 life, I'm thinking why is there not a 21 life? Because I think if you've only lived, if you're always dying when you're 4 or something like this, then of course you'll have more than 20 lives. But yeah, it's kind of made me think, like, what is the scaling of this, and what happens next when you get to a certain development point. I don't think I've known anyone that's on the 15th life according to the method 3. There might exist. I don't know who else they are. I think Jeff Bezos is quite high up too. He's probably on. I think he's on 14 too, to be honest. But yeah,